All right, I'll be back in a sec making coffee.
Coffee. Yeah, it was really good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
My time over there. I want to do it again. I just can't afford it.
Oh, I completely understand that. I've always wanted to. So you're in England, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to England next year.
Oh, cool. Where are you going?
We're taking so it's gonna be for one of my best friend's birthday. The first leg of the trip, we're gonna spend, I want to say, like maybe 3 days in Paris. We're gonna explore the city, and we're also gonna go to Disneyland over there, and then we're gonna fly over to London. I want to say spend maybe 2 or 3 days in London, and then we're gonna take a tour of southern England. So we're gonna go to Cornwall and all the other sites down there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds really cool. Actually,
see a few castles. I hope we're gonna see some. I hope there's castles in Cornwall, right, in southern England.
Oh yeah.
Or are they? Okay, good.
There's castles everywhere. There's so many castles. There's a castle just, I say down the road. It's about probably half an hour from me, called Rockingham Castle, or Rockingham Castle, I guess. Well, it's Rockingham Castle, but where my accent comes in. Yeah, that's just down the road from me. There's Warwick Castle, which is like a big one. Actually, I only live about an hour from London.
Nice, very cool.
We
visited. Once I fly over there, I gotta hit you up, and now I have more people to hit up when I go to London, because I have some mates on another podcast who they're like, yeah, you gotta let us know when we fly over there, and awesome.
Yeah, I can jump on a train to London. It takes like an hour on the train, so yeah, not a problem. Come hang out.
No, my friends are gonna be annoyed because it's like, man, this is supposed to be our trip, and now you're seeing all your friends from in England. Or half of them are probably like, how the hell do you know all these people from England? It's like internet.
I'm trapped in it.
Some Australians introduced me.
That's how it happened. Freaking Sega Master Tim was the reason I fell into this whole retro gaming community on Twitter.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all his fault. And then Top Loader followed me, a bunch of other Australians followed me, then people from Europe and Ireland and England started following me. I think a few Scots followed me. I got a few Americans here and there, and then all of a sudden I went from like maybe having 50 followers on Twitter to 200 in like a week.
Yeah.
And then it's still slowly but surely growing, and I'm like, damn, I didn't expect this to happen. This is great. So this is what the internet's supposed to be like.
The international sensation Ben Magnet.
I wish.
I'm kind of committed to do it.
Yeah, same. I could do with a few more followers on Twitter, a few more subscribers on YouTube, then I think it'll be good. There he is. He's got the jacket on.
By the way, they can all hear you. Everyone can hear you.
Cool. We won't say anything too mean.
But anyways, hardcore. The closest castle to me is over in Anaheim. It's ruled by a giant mouse.
Ah, yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Disneyland.
And also thank you.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, I
Wrong
say
mouse,
I'm
sorry.
The other famous American mouse.
Okay.
the other one, the more famous American mouse.
Mickey Mouse wears a Chuck E. Cheese watch.
Disneyland Paris is great.
So just watching these highlights, that was a good shot with me and the camera. I just threw the hat at the camera, got it straight in. Oh, do you remember that one where I was playing and you were watching, you're in the background playing Zelda 2, and I got the shits with it because I had to restart. So I threw the controller, hit the glass, and it just made that perfect ding sound. This is the best feature I've put on the channel, is these highlights. It just goes through randomly picking highlights out and playing them during the countdown screen.
Nice.
Do you guys stream?
Now the story goes that
I try.
I was actually in the middle of a
I
stream
have
and
Twitch, I just haven't used it a lot recently. But I've not done a lot of anything recently.
Same.
Real life.
I mean,
but yeah, I do want to get more on.
I think the one thing I saved on my Twitch is a thing with me and another friend of mine, Cindy. I was teaching her how to play Fortnite, so that's the one clip that's saved on my Twitch right now. And I didn't save any clips when I was doing my Metroid Dread playthrough. Yeah, I know. I forgot because I did like an hour and a half of Dread, and then something happened that I gotta go. I had to do, and then when I finally remembered it, it was like gone. Although I do have some, I just got a few Crash games that I'm thinking about streaming since I have a little bit of time away from work because.
This is really hard to concentrate because I can hear the highlights going off, and so I'm trying to listen to you while that's going off in the background. I need to change that maybe.
I keep getting notifications on Discord from other Discords that keep pinging up.
There's when you're streaming, there is a mode that you can use to stop that. Yeah.
You don't know the other one, the Xbox.
Yeah, that would be useful actually.
Actually, damps. These notifications are annoying. There we go.
Thank you for that, Tiger Max.
Actually, I wish Windows had a stream mode to, you know, time out notifications and whatnot for 2 hours or whatever. I don't think it does have that. Oh, notification settings.
It's got to be this way. Sorry.
No, you can turn notifications off,
There.
but I want like just a 2 hour timeout.
Come closer to the camera.
That clip's so freaky.
Kind of creepy.
How much Zen looks like Nez from Earthbound.
All right.
Like that was
Switch back over to the gameplay.
uncanny is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. I had to move my floor protector because it was stopping my
Yeah,
chair from rolling
I've
forward.
got one from AK Racing, right, and it just keeps moving around. It's got a life of its own. It just,
Yeah.
I hate it.
Mine's from IKEA and it just like it'll slide around as I'm moving my chair.
Have you guys got the IKEA furniture stuff yet, or the gaming furniture?
IKEA has gaming furniture now?
Yep, they're entering the gaming. I'm a real gamer market.
I've not. My nearest IKEA is probably 40 minutes away. I've not been there for a while. I've not been there pre-pandemic.
Actually, my
I haven't been to
entertainment
mine.
center has- the entertainment center where my TV is sitting on, that's actually from IKEA.
Everything in this room is IKEA. All these shelves behind me, the couch is IKEA.
Oh, the bookshelves, the
All
Billies.
IKEA.
Billies are like a standard. I want to paint mine
You
though.
probably can't see because of my lights, but all my toy collection
they're
over there
Billies.
is all IKEA.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all Billies. Yeah.
I want to paint mine though. One blue, one red, because that's like console war thing going on. Oh my god, that's loud.
What the hell is going on with the voice? Hang on a sec.
Nah, and I can't change that. Damn it.
When you say something's loud and you listen to highlights, I'm just thinking it's top loader.
No, it's actually me with the voice changer, pretending that I can't get it right just for comedic effect. God, I wonder how many themes I've had over the years. Full 5 different themes. All
I
right,
very
minute.
rarely use Twitch. I'm on my second.
All right, we're on the countdown now for 1 minute.
Woohoo! Cool.
That's an insult, man.
It's happening.
This guy just needs to be put back in the paint.
If I could find the countdown. Ah, there it is. Okay. And Retrokaiser, can you stop farting? Oh, I haven't got the stream bot on. Thanks for the reminder. Why didn't you remind me? He keeps doing the command to get the fart sound going.
It's the ultimate welcoming sound.
30-second.
9, 8,
All right.
7,
I'm not going to hit that button again. Thank you.
6, 5,
Does it actually say Genesis or is it backwards on your guys'
No,
side?
it's proper
3,
on my end.
Up on your end?
Oh shit, mine's back to front, I think. Oh no, mine's right. You guys are seeing me back to front. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Your
t-shirt looks back to me, but-
your Reaper's shirt.
Alright, we are doing...
Since Spacies.
Oh no, wrong screen! One moment while I get my crap together. We are joined by some awesome guests and you'll see them in a second. G'day invaders, welcome to Since Spacies. This is episode number 29 of the Since Spacies Show. Why am I yelling? I don't know. I'm yelling because I've got music in my ears. We have got Retrokaiser, sauce bottle, applause. wait, I gotta do the sound effect. Okay, the record stop. Hey guys, doing? Yeah, so we got Retrokaiser who joined in just unannounced at the last minute. I'm like, oh, okay, I can fit him in. I can fit you in.
I just got out of bed, tripped over, and I landed here.
Pretty much how it went. We have, I'll get my words together. We have also got Ben Magnet, the PlayStation card master himself. How you doing?
Wait, so we're not playing Go Fish? I thought we were playing Go Fish. I got my cards. Oh, well, I guess we're going to do, hey guys, how's it going?
Not too bad. We've also got Hardcore Gamer. What are we calling you? Sam, Hard, Mr. Gamer?
Sam is fine.
Gamer. Hard Gamer.
Hardcore Gamer. Yes, I'm Sam. I'm the British one in the room. Hello.
Are you the token British?
I'm the token British.
It's been a while. Was it 2018 since you last found your way here?
Yeah, it has been a while actually. I'm glad you said yes. Having me back. If you're like, no, you're not relevant anymore. Go away.
I never do that. I was just actually talking to Mrs. Spacies this morning, saying that for 22, I would like to get some more big shot guests on the show. However, I do want to just throw the invite out to
they weren't available, so you asked me.
No, I'm trying to. Oh my god! Do you know what I mean? Like, even if I had access to big star guests, I would still want to continue going for the people who have got less than 1,000 subs or whatever. That to me, your level of subs and whatever has never mattered. It's always about just talking to the person and how interesting they are to come up with a response that I couldn't come up with. That's my main goal. So yeah,
don't forget your roots. That's how it is, which is all cool. I'm glad that I'm back and I'm here to answer some questions and talk very slowly so people can actually understand what I'm saying.
You spawned a language. You'd think anyone there would speak it.
Yeah,
now get my
you
jacket.
would think.
You would think. I couldn't help but notice that Retrokaiser's pondering into the distance there. So, is something distracting you? Are you right?
Oh no, I'm just listening.
Okay.
That's just it.
That's it? Okay. All right.
I got nothing clever or witty to add to this.
He's just taking it all in. That's all it is. He's just
bringing it all in, man.
Okay. We've got a new look. I tried to introduce this look last show, and it just didn't work. And I now know why. I tried to be smart and have my screen divided up into 3 segments at the last minute, and that threw everything right out. But now it's working, and I'm not ripping IGN off at all. No, not at all. Not one bit.
I gotta say, it looks really, really cool, dude. It's like ooh, shiny.
This looks professional and stuff.
Wrapped in a box.
Yeah, it's really awkward because I can't go left or right. I gotta be damn jacket. I tell you, I gotta get a new one. It's all coming apart. Retrokaiser. You already have answered the questions many, many times. So we're just going to ask you, what are you playing lately?
I had the hankering to play a PS1 game that I hadn't played since I was about 10 years old, and that was Ape Escape.
Oh,
on the Vita? On the Vita?
No, the original PS1 version, the one where you have to actually use the thumbstick, the DualShocks. Yeah.
Oh, that was the first big dual stick game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was confusing as hell to play as a kid because I was so used to using the D-pad and the buttons. It's sort of like that game is the training wheels to get you used to the DualShock
You were
controllers.
A special child, though. Yeah.
But now, as a grown-up that's so can't play without the DualShocks now, I was like, let's give Ape Escape a proper run. And I played it, and it's just, damn, this is still a really fun little game. Nowhere near as big or massive as I remembered as a kid, because I remember the levels being absolutely huge.
Yeah.
But now they're just tiny, but they're still quite satisfying levels to play. Love all the character with all the monkeys, the world surrounding it. It's quite a well-built game, and as I said, the controls for it is like training wheels to get you into the DualShock control, and it plays so smooth. It's worth a play. The sequels, though, didn't really get too much into the sequels, but the original one is brilliant.
So getting away from Ape Escape more towards the Dual Shock, why is it that Nintendo got so close with the one analog stick and just couldn't go copy paste and put 2 sticks? They were so close. They put that stupid C buttons. Was it the C buttons? I haven't got an N60.
The C, mine's over there.
Are we talking about the N64 controller or the GameCube controller?
No, N64.
Oh yeah, I don't know what's going on.
That was so close. You know what I mean? They could have been the ones to have made dual stick a thing, and they were like they half-assed it.
They also made a controller that requires free hands to play as well.
Yeah, that's one. That's just a stupid gimmick. I could never get over that. It was just how do you hold it? That's the first thing you think of when you grab it. Anyway,
that was the first thing I thought when I saw an N64 controller for the first time, and I was 5 years old when that thing came out. I'm like, how do you hold it?
Yeah, it's the first thing you think of when you grab the damn thing.
It depends on the game. You can hold it that way or hold it that way. It's like, is that or that? It depends on the game. It's not you have to hold it all at once.
No, you need free hands. It just keeps coming back to that.
Well, hold it if you hold the edges like that and then use your foot on the middle, it's fine.
Oh,
I don't know how everyone else plays there in 64.
Mr. Magnet.
Yes.
Welcome to the Since Spacies Show. We have 3 questions that we always ask new guests. First one being, what was the very first console that you owned, and what was the first game that you played on it?
All right, this is gonna. Well, so first console I ever owned that was mine was the original PlayStation 1, the OG. I got it for Easter. I always remember. I will never forget this. My brother and I woke up Easter morning.
We
walked out. Yeah,
Easter gifts.
I don't know.
What's that?
Yeah, it might be an American thing. I don't know, but
I'm down with it. But it's just
something.
Yeah, I thought you just get eggs and a bunch of hot cross buns and that you call it a day. But no, you get a PlayStation.
I'm just picturing he gets the big giant egg, cracks it open. Oh, PlayStation!
Just in chocolate, pretty much. Encased in chocolate.
Yeah, that was the first console my family had, and since it's myself and my brother, they had to give each of us a game. So my brother got Crash Bandicoot 3, and I got Twisted Metal 2.
Okay.
So the first game I ever played on that console was Twisted Metal 2.
Real quick question. Did you get a memory card, or did you have to go running back and get the memory card later?
Oh, we got the memory card later.
So you just left the PlayStation running.
Not to brag on my parents, because they weren't video game literate as they kind of are today, especially since one of them has a bunch of grandkids running around. Yeah. So I think when we first got the game, it's like you need to save it to a memory card. We told our parents like, "Oh, did you get a memory card?" And they looked at us with these blank stares, like, "What's that?" Oh, we have to spend more money so you can save your game and save your progress.
If you had bought a Saturn. A Sega Saturn. See, this is my argument with the whole $2.99. Remember that he got up on stage and that was a great move by Sony. There's no getting away from that. But with that $2.99, there should have been a big asterisk saying you don't get a game, you don't get a memory card. There's no inbuilt memory, so you know, and you don't get Virtual Fighter or Sega Rally.
I think we discovered that it can play music CDs completely by accident.
What?
Like we didn't even read the manual for it. Because the original PlayStation, I think all PlayStations can play music CDs.
Yeah, well, I knew that. Yeah, but you just landed on that by accident? Oh, I wonder if it can play ABBA.
No. ABBA. I think we heard. I think my dad heard one of his coworkers say, like, "Oh yeah, we were playing it out. We don't have a CD player, but we used my son's PlayStation." And my dad heard that and went, "Huh?" And then that one party we had, he grabbed some album that he had and just popped it in, and all of a sudden it was playing through the TV just perfectly fine.
I'm just picturing a whole family huddled around this PlayStation going, listening to music coming out for the first time.
That happened to me as a kid. My parents would use it as a CD player, and then me and my brothers, he's like, "Dad, can we play the PlayStation now?" and they're listening to the CDs.
I'm just going to do a bit of a heads up that with the chat, we might not get to the chat as often as I usually do on a stream. But welcome to the stream, Ghost Hand. Thanks for popping by. He's saying that, or she, sorry, some PS1 CDs also had soundtracks if you put it in a CD player. Yeah, what do they call it? Red Book? Is that what
Red
it's
Book? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I was going to say that. Like, I discovered my favorite band in the world from putting the Street Skater disc in the CD player, like, and hearing all because the whole soundtrack was Epitaph Records, so it's all these like amazing punk bands, and there's a band that is still my favorite band to this day. I heard on that CD. True fact. There you go.
Formula One is my best memory with that. Joe Satriani, Stevie Vai. That just had such an epic soundtrack for. Did you guys ever play Formula One or? It had the official commentator, and go, that dude.
I did back in the day. Formula 197, right?
Yeah, and it had the official layout. If you watched Formula One back in the day, it actually had the on-screen graphics matching up with the official broadcast version. That just tripped me out back then to see that. I don't think many games do that even now to this day. I think, though, that the Formula One broadcast was very iconic back then, the layout. So to have that replicated in a video game made it feel real.
I know the new FIFA games within the last 5 years or so. Now they've got like a universal layout they use for like licensing and things like that. That is in all the FIFA games.
Okay.
So it's like the English Premier League will have all the logos and all
with the stingers,
right motion graphics
past.
and stuff. Yeah. I know that'll all pop up as if it like it's
real.
licensed to someone on TV. Yeah, obviously some of the channels have their own broadcast graphics and stuff, but it's like the export graphics, whatever you call it, is what's in FIFA, which is pretty cool.
Back to Ben.
Sorry.
Second question: what's your favorite game of all time? No pressure. Gun to the head. Huh?
Sonic CD.
I thought you said Sonic 06 there for a sec.
No.
We'd have to set him on fire if he said that.
Sonic CD is my favorite video game of all time. That was the first video game my parents bought me that was my own to have. Yeah, I had the Windows 95 port. Spacies, you and I talked about this when you were on my podcast a while ago.
Yes. And
we had a little discussion about the American and the Japanese soundtracks. And I am not one person who prefers the American soundtrack or the North American soundtrack.
I know another very annoying person that keeps badgering on about how they like the American soundtrack better. Okay, each to their own, except when you're wrong. It is an awesome game. Probably disappointing that they could have done perhaps more with it, but it was so experimental and CD format was so new back then that I think they got out of it as much as you could expect them to. And that whole ramp section on the very first level where the camera sort of spins around and he runs up the ramp.
I love that part.
I kind of feel like that was just them goofing around with what can we do in this? And they only did something like that in the very first level. And you never saw any kind of wild 3D motion effects or anything like that from that point on. It was just a bit bizarre. But the soundtrack, both the US and both the Japanese soundtracks are killer. I will say that. I just lean more towards the Japanese one. That's just me.
Yeah, which is understandable. And the reason why I lean more towards the American one is because, unfortunately, for what I had growing up, that's all I got. It wasn't until I got the game re-downloaded on my phone where I could even listen to the Japanese soundtrack. And for me, my brain is so ingrained in what I listened to as a kid that I'm not saying it's bad, far from it.
It's just not what you're used to.
Exactly. I just want to go back to what I grew up with. So
when I bought the PC version and loaded it up for the first time, and I heard the different, I didn't even know that there was a separate soundtrack for the US version, because you got to remember back then there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no like social media, so you had to find all this crap out yourself. And so I put the disc in and start playing, and I'm like, it's broken. This is something wrong. This is not right. It was only until I heard the story about how Sega of America bought a studio and they wanted to show it off. And so they wanted to put their own flair on games. And I just think that they should have left that alone. They could have put that energy with that soundtrack to another game, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the 69 for the 69 bits. That's cheeky of you. Why is my alerts not working? Anyway, I'll get to that in a second. While I'm tweaking around with this, Ben, what's your what game are you currently playing now? What's keeping you occupied?
Oh, easy Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. That thing has been taking up as so much of my free time now. It's nuts. Yeah, I grew up playing Pokemon, but after Silver version and once we got Ruby and Sapphire, I stopped because I was like 13, 14 when those games came out. So I was thinking, okay, Pokemon's for kids. I'm trying, it's that part of your life you try to be more adult.
You were saying that at
mature.
13. Wow. Okay.
Well, it's that age where you think about, it's like, oh, this
I'm
is
a
like
man
kid stuff.
now.
Or you're trying to be, and also, you're trying to impress girls and everything. And then once I got into high school, when Diamond and Pearl came out, the original versions, everyone in my high school was playing Pokemon. No one cared. So I got the game. I loved it. And then when the remakes came out, I'm like, well, I gotta get these, and that's been taking up my time. I absolutely love it. I'm having a blast with it.
I was too old. Literally, I was too old for it at the time. I was more used to Phantasy Star and Final Fantasy being RPGs. So when I played a Pokemon game for the first time, it was a little bit goo goo gaga for me. And so I turned away from it initially. But as the years rocked on, those games got way more complicated than we first thought, and there is a lot of back end stuff into those games. You can play it on many different levels. You can play it as, oh, I'm just going to get through, beat the gym leaders, and call it a day, or you can go through and actually try to collect them all. It's totally up to you.
So it's a brilliant way of trying to get into the RPG genre as a whole, because it teaches you all the basics you need to know of the genre itself.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it was baby's first RPG, because as a kid, if you were to put like 9-year-old me with a Pokemon game, I'd be like, yeah, this game's awesome. But then you go, hey, let's play Final Fantasy. I would have said, oh, Final Fantasy's lame. It's boring. You just take turns. Whereas Pokemon, you were literally doing the exact same thing.
But you got some animations going on at the same time.
Yeah. And then I got older, I realized, wow, I'm an idiot, because I love Final Fantasy. I love RPGs.
Actually, that would be a good question. What was a game that you first thought was lame and for babies, and then you went back later and found out, maybe that's not quite what I thought it to be? Which reminds me, that's a nice little segue. If you have a video question, because this Since Spacies Show is the show where you guys ask the questions, all you got to do is record your mug in landscape, a minute or less, asking a question, any video game related question, and send it in, and send it into brian@sincespacies.com, and your video might show up on a future episode of the Since Spacies Show. Now, Mr. Gamer Sam. I think we've just run that joke out. Now, I don't normally ask the same question twice, but you last appeared when this wasn't called the Since Spacies Show. It was called Yes, Another Bloody Gaming Podcast. Very hard.
I think it was the first episode of Yes, Another Bloody Gaming Podcast, not Another Bloody Gaming Podcast. I think it was the first episode.
No, you were episode 8. You were episode 8, I think. I had to go back and find out. I think it was April or August, something like that, 2018.
It was early in from when it was Not Another Bloody Gaming Podcast to Yes, Another Bloody Gaming Podcast. It was right early in that.
Can you see why I changed it? It's just so hard to say after. I will ask you the questions again, because quite frankly, I've forgotten your answers. I'm sorry. It was so long ago. What was the very first console that you owned, and what was the first game you played on it that you can remember?
I am deceptively old, so this is going to probably interest some people. The very first games console I owned, it's not really a console, it's a gaming computer, was a ZX Spectrum 48K Plus.
Such a British answer.
Nice.
It's a very British answer. Yeah, it's a British computer.
Yes.
If we're going actual consoles, bloody Brits.
Every single Brit I've talked to always mentions the Spectrum. Every single one of them.
It wasn't
my
as
friends
big
was
here in
either
Australia. There was definitely a scene here for them, but I just used to look at the graphics and the screenshots and used to go, "What's that?" that was my reaction, but I didn't grow up with it, so I didn't appreciate it as much as maybe you guys did. What was the first
when
game
I was
on
little,
it? Jet
oh,
Set
what was
Willy.
the first game?
Those things didn't even exist here in the United States. So it's like
Yeah.
years later, I find out it's like, what's the Spectrum thing? Oh, it's a computer. Okay.
I know a lot of my friends, especially when I was little, it was either a Spectrum, it was an Amiga, or it was a Commodore.
Commodore 64.
No, Commodore Amiga, or it was an Amstrad CPC. That's what all my friends had. And if we're talking actual first console, it was the original NES. But what games did I play? Oh, one of my friends had a Transformers game on the Spectrum, which I think is the first one I played.
Okay.
'Cause that was at his house. And then when I got my own, I had a game called Booty, which was not what you think.
Rated R.
It was you're a pirate, yeah, and you had to go around the ship collecting treasure.
Yeah, not the
Yeah,
2021 definition of booty.
No, you weren't like Lil Wayne, like running after women or anything.
Favorite game of all time?
Oh, see, this changes frequently. It's like a rotation of like a couple. But I think if I was going to pick my very favorite, it would probably be Psychonauts.
Okay.
The original Psychonauts, because it's just amazing. It's like it's really well written. It's really funny. The sense of humor perfectly appeals to me. Like it just kind of hits me just where my sense of humor is. But I really, really like. Cause I'm a massive comic book fan, and I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. The PS4 Spider-Man game is definitely up there. It's so good.
Damn it! That was the game that I was supposed to buy during the. Did that get reduced to like $9 on the greatest hits, or nah? There's no way they'll do that.
I think they've done. I don't think it's greatest hits, but I think they have reduced it. I think you can pick it up over here for about £15.
See, I've got a PlayStation.
Something like that.
I've got a PlayStation 4 Pro, but it's really neglected. I just do not use it as much as I know I should. And there's a lot of games on that machine that I know I should have gotten around to getting, or at least playing. Nathan Drake Collection and God of War. What's the other? BioShock. Anyway, I cleaned up with the last Black Friday sales and just bought a stack of them. So I got to get busy on streams later. I'm annoyed because I bought Judgment, which is the Yakuza offshoot, and they just announced that that's a free PlayStation Plus game.
Oh no!
But
No.
I don't mind because I want to collect all the Yakuza games physical for the remade versions, not the original. Getting the original ones is going to be too costly, and it's just not what I'm after. So yeah. Anyway, it's not about me. Back to you. The game that you're playing at the moment.
This is a weird one because they've just announced a whole bunch of backwards compatible titles on the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X. So they announced, one of the ones they announced was Skate 2.
Nice.
So I started playing Skate 2 and then immediately stopped and started playing Skate 3 again. So I'm currently playing Skate 3 again.
That's not one of the backward compatible games, or it is?
It is, yeah.
They both are?
They both are, but 1 and 3 have been on there for years and have just put 2 on with the latest update.
Okay.
So I started playing 2 again and then realized that 3 is just better. So I started playing 3 again instead.
It's a real shame that that this is going to be allegedly the last major backward compatible update.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. There's a couple of games that I really want to play and don't want to pull my 360 out. Like the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine, I really want to play again.
Toe Jam and L.
Toe Jam and L, yeah.
That's not on the list.
There's like a whole bunch of stuff that like
Jet Set Radio.
Yeah,
Sega GT.
Sega that's not on there. There's a lot missing. So they still got a lot of ground to cover. I don't think even the Shenmue game, the Shenmue 2, can be played on it. Yeah, I guess if you're really keen, you can play Shenmue by other means because it's reduced to clear just about everywhere you go now. Yeah, the remake version, that is. We are going to now get to question number 1. Now, it is a bit of a tradition that Game Boy Bryant, because he sent me in 30 questions or so. That is super keen, by the way. Now, you're going to struggle to be able to pick up what he's saying. Don't worry. When you come back to us, we'll clear up what he's saying. But try and work it out. I don't know if it's his accent or whatever, but anyway, you'll see. So, Game Boy Bryant, mate, what have you got for us?
Recently, and this is about the last couple of generations of consoles. It just seems like they're focusing on their areas that really just don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Because really, you could use Netflix stuff on the other consoles. It's good to have it, but really, when you think about it, they are almost on every single device. And the reason they're focusing on for the consoles is performance, ray tracing, things of that nature. Whereas back in the day, what sold consoles would be exclusive like this. It's a really good game. If you have a GBA, you can play it in better screens nowadays. So my question is, what do they need to focus on to really just bring people in? Because really graphics, it's not really going to cut it as much as it used to, even if they get better and better and better. Really, they need to focus on the games, because games are really the thing that sells consoles. They did back then. You got Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, and PS1, for example. You had games like Halo on the Xbox consoles. It's a really big deal, because I know you got one back then. Take care, Spacies. Because really, games are really what sells consoles. You can only do other stuff for so long. Take care.
Okay, wait for it. There we go. Okay, yeah. So, just in a nutshell, the question is basically, what do consoles need to do to bring gaming into the future? What needs to be done with these consoles? Because it used to be about, now this console has got improved 3D graphics. I think it's got to the point now where improving the graphics isn't really enough for me anymore. It's like, they're sufficient. They're fine now to be able to portray whatever it is that the developer needs to do. So what's next? What needs to happen now to make you...
Does there need to be a next? Can't they just simply stick to just, making fun games? Just work on making some very...
How dare you? How dare you, insert Greta? You bring up an interesting point, because in Japan, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, which is, really bad example, they're selling not so great compared to Switch. And the Switch is nowhere near being, power-hungry machine. And yet they dwarf the sales of the other consoles over in that country. So is that like telling everyone we've reached a level now where we don't need the big flashy graphics anymore? Because there's always going to be a section of the community, the gaming community, that says, I want all the frames per minute. I want all the ray tracing. I want all that. Well, good. Get a PC. That's for you. Like, what's the future of console gaming? I guess.
I feel like the future of console gaming is kind of what the Switch's model is. It's
portable.
It's a portable home system, because that's something that we've been dreaming about since like the Game Boy came out. The Game Boy was a very, depowered, but it was a portable NES if you think about it. And then you got the Game Boy Advance SP, which is like a portable SNES, which is how they were able to put a bunch of SNES titles on there. And things just kept getting better and better and better until finally they reached that merging point where it's like you can play these big, giant, bombastic titles while you're on the train going to work, which is probably why the Switch sold so well in Japan, because people are playing their Switch on the train. They're playing it in the car on their way to grandma's house for the holidays.
That's what I was going to suggest. It just suits the Japanese way of life, doesn't it? Because they can sit on the train, and like, I guess even like in London, if you're getting the tube to work, you can sit and play your Switch on the tube, or it's just agreeing.
I was going to throw a spanner in the works though, because we're saying, that's going to be the future of console gaming. Let me just throw two words to you: Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, that too.
So that's a portable PC. So you can go is the future of gaming just in general away from the big screen?
Another two words for you: mobile phone.
No, don't.
They make.
Do you not have mobile phones?
Do you guys know headphones? I mean, okay, so in pure honesty, I play Sonic CD on my phone because the iOS port of Sonic CD is actually really well done. It's very well made, and it's a fun way to play the game because obviously you just go, it's just one button to jump. That's it.
And not just that, we've got accessories for this now that actually add proper controllers to it.
Yeah.
True.
So you can actually, turn this, because this is essentially a pocket computer. And you can turn these old things into like main machines now, like really high quality ones.
All right,
Just
Granddad. Pocket computer. But you are right. I on this monitor I have the ability to get any of the Samsung devices that I've got, plug it in, and I can then use my mouse and keyboard as if it was a PC. The mobile phone showing up on my screen.
That's pretty cool.
I can see the day where there's just not going to be a need for a PC tower. Like eventually, you'll always have a group of enthusiasts that want that extra grunt with a PC with the latest graphics card. But there's going to be a bigger community out there for people who just want to plug a small device in and take it. And the beauty of that is you can go from, if everyone had a dockable, place where you can just plug your phone in, you can bring all your stuff with you on the fly. You don't need to go, oh, you haven't got that program here, have you?
Well, I'm that guy who's got an iMac, and then I've got an iPad as well, and it's because you've got the cloud. Everything just works seamlessly. I can sit on my iPad and draw in Photoshop, and when I open Photoshop on my iMac, it's there, like the file's there to open.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of thing with gaming, because the Switch, obviously you take the whole unit away, but if there's a separate part you could take away and play, and then reconnect it to your home TV in like a slightly different format, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many. Sorry, I was gonna say I can't tell you how many times where my girlfriend, one of us is playing video games and the other either wants to watch something on Netflix or they're playing the Switch, and one of us just takes the Switch off the dock, and then we can watch and then we do whatever we want to do on the PlayStation. It's just been so convenient, so easy.
Wasn't that the way they initially pushed the Wii U though? Do you remember that initial the guy was wanting to watch, I want to watch my baseball. So so he took it off and switched the mode, and then the TV went to TV mode.
He just like pushed a button on his gamepad. And then it went to the screen, and then you're able to watch the baseball game, which has definitely been not an argument, but a thing that has happened for me growing up. Because I mean, I grew up in a huge sports family. My dad and we were huge LA Dodgers fans. So of course he would come home from work. We only had one TV. That's the TV the PlayStation's hooked up to. I'm trying to play video games, and he's like, "We're watching baseball. Save and quit." And I'm like, "Okay."
But Dad,
the second Dad said save and quit, you saved and you quit.
Yeah, true. Well, I hope that answers your question to some degree. I don't think we've got a solution though. I've just more portable.
I was gonna suggest more crossplay. So if you've got an Xbox, if you've got a PlayStation, you've got a Switch, you can just all play the same game together.
Yeah, I like that. I can see that.
Because it doesn't matter what you've got, everyone can still play.
Sorry, I got something going on in the chat. Did you see that, Kaiser?
No, you didn't get another wannabe famous guy in there.
No. He's actually wanting to put a link. It was someone that's donated before. Sorry, I will edit this bit out.
Yep.
Yes, I do realize we are live.
Exclusive stuff for the live viewers right here.
Yeah.
A little bit of a Since Spacies extra. Oh.
I'm in the wrong screen to go. Do you have mod view? It's basically
on my phone.
Basically, what's happened is he's been timed out for 10 minutes and he can't chat, and I don't want that to be the case. If I go to, I won't spend much longer on this, but I just hate seeing people in the chat getting beaten up by the bot, which is what's happening right now. So I won't be too long, or maybe I will. No, hang on.
Damn bots.
That just reminds me, if you ever make a custom like timeout message, Brian, you need to change it to not a no shoes.
I gotta work on that. He's been timed out, but I can't untime him out on. Yeah, I'm really sorry to Papa Rub. Papa Rub? Is that how you say it? Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that later. No, I'll need to work on that later. I do apologize. You're just gonna have to sit tight and hang tight for 10 minutes. Sorry. All right, back to the questions. I don't know what you can add to video game consoles now to make it. I always wanted to see a portable Xbox. That would have been quite special. Popping achievements on the fly. That would be cool. I guess we're kind of getting that with cloud gaming. So that is it. Karush. What they call that controller that you can get for your mobile phone? That that expandable one.
I don't know what it's called, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And they just announced a new looking one, and it looks sweet. Razer are actually going to release it. Once this stream is over, go have a look at Razer Xbox controller. They're going to make a ton of money. This thing is awesome. So, yeah. Actually, I think it's a screen and everything, and it's basically a streaming device. So it doesn't have any real grunt in it, like CPU power or anything like that itself. It's just receiving and displaying, and you got the buttons there. Should be good. All right. I don't know if we got anything else with this one. Anything else on this topic? Move along.
There we go. Sorry, just got Papa Rob out of the timeout for you.
Thank you. Welcome back to the stream, Papa Rob. All right. So we're going to now move on to question number 2. This time we have got a question from Dave Stokes. And I can never what's his name? I can never remember the channel name. What's that? Dave, what have you got for us? That was a real smooth intro. It won't be long.
Seamless.
Long time and no talk, but I'll be heading to the Milwaukee Gaming Classic tomorrow, and I was just curious, when you guys go to a big gaming convention, what is it that you're really going there to look for? Are you going just to kind of maybe play some games, or are you looking to find stuff for your collection? Like, what is it that you really get excited about when you're going to a convention? Anyway, hope you have a great show.
Live TV. It's not really TV. And it's not unmuted. There you go. I got to do that manually. I got to set this up properly one day. Yeah. So his question was, but I didn't even get you guys the question. When you go to a gaming convention, what do you look for? What's your big thing that you go there for?
Well, this is a fun one. All right.
I'll start. You would think that I go there because I want to see the latest games, or I want to play the latest games, or I want to get my hands on old, rare, retro stuff. No, I go there because I want to meet other gamers and mingle and share contacts and just share stories and have a beer with some other gamers and talk shit. That's my only reason why I want to go to these streaming events. That's why, I mean, these gaming events. That's what I loved about PAX. Even like I got to be on the panel and got to be up on stage, but I would have swapped that just to be able to meet more people any day. The whole panel experience was great and all, but I just got more out of meeting people and just hanging out. That was more fun for me. So anyone else here got something? No?
First, last time.
Don't all talk at once.
All right, I'll go first again. Okay, so I actually do. Because a lot of the gaming conventions I go to are normally retro gaming conventions, but they do have a lot of modern stuff there.
Yeah.
It really just depends on how much money is in my bank account at the time. Because if I have a decent amount,
I feel that.
and I can spend some money. I do have a list, and of course, there's always that find that you can find someone there who makes handmade retro things that are really cool and really rad. It's like, cool, I'll definitely get that. Or if I see a game that I've been looking for, or a game I've never had that's at a decent price, I'll go ahead and nab it. But also the same thing, you, Brian. I also love going there to talk and meet new people. I do a podcast myself, so I want to go. I want to mingle. I want to, rub elbows and try to get more people on my show and just talk and just like share stories and see how they grew up with video games compared to my experience growing up with video games. And also, a lot of the conventions I go to have they all have arcade games or like these little consoles that are set up that are all plugged in with a game in. And to me, that's a really cool place to go and experience new games or new consoles that I've never been able to play before. Like the last one I got to go to in the before times, they had an Atari Jaguar set up. Yeah, the time before COVID.
Are we going to reset the clock? It's not going to be 2022 we're moving into. It's going to be, what is it? AC2 after COVID 2.
Or actually, it's gonna like when COVID's like when everything opens up and we don't have to wear masks anymore. It's like after COVID 1.
Sorry, I just thought of some. Sorry, Ben. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just thought of something silly, something stupid. When you said AC, because we're living in AD, so would that mean we'll be living in ACDC? Oh, ACDC. I
had to go there, didn't he?
I fucked up that joke. I was trying to go for ACDC.
Oh, we are getting raided. I'm going to just stop this stream for a second. I don't normally do this, but that's a decent raid we got there. Thank you for the for the raid. We are getting raided by... Is it Scruffy? No, hang on. Zombie Workshop. Well, okay.
Zombie Workshop. Hey, Zombie.
Zombie. Give me a second. Spacey stream before? Oh, no. What's happened? What's happened? There we go. It's a raid.
This here is my Twitch channel, Since Spacies, and you're probably wondering why are you going to bother to click on that follow button. I'll give you a few different reasons. I used to work in the gaming industry back in the day. I used to work for companies such as Hyper Magazine, Megazone Magazine, The Gamesman, and the big one, Sega! Oh, wow. Yeah, I used to work for those guys too. So, yeah, I used to take calls on the Sega hotline, helping kids out with Alex Kidd, Sonic. So that was something from my past. Also, just more recently, I featured on the front page of IGN.com. That's right. So I'm very active in the gaming community. Drop by into my channel sometime. Have a quick look at my channel. Also, I'm on YouTube as well. And you can also have a look at SynthSpacies.com. I've got cool merch there as well. Hope to see you guys dropping into the chat soon. Have an awesome day.
This is live. How you guys doing? Welcome in. Yeah, we're just in the middle of discussing gaming conventions, and we were talking about adopting a new calendar system. Forget about AD, and they don't call it BC anymore. It's BCE or some damn thing. No, we're going to be going AC after COVID. DC. BC, AC, BC. So anyway, thank you for dropping in. I hope you guys had a good stream. We're going to continue on. And by the way, this is the show, the Since Spacies Show, where you guys ask the questions. So you'll see what I mean in a second. Gaming conventions. Have you ever been to a gaming convention, Retrokaiser, Source Bottle?
Yes, I've been to a few back a couple years ago, up to 10 years ago, like some small ones, like I don't know if you remember. I know they wouldn't have this in America or in the UK, but do you remember the E-Games Expo, Spacies?
No, not familiar with that one.
It only lasted a few years. It was just like a small little community thing. That was nice. And I've been to Supernova a few times. I was supposed to be at Supernova in Sydney this year. Kind of glad I didn't, because the bloody Nazis took over it.
What?
And I would have. That's what happened. A booth selling
well, actual Adolf
merchant or neo-Nazis, I should say. They were causing a ruckus at the convention. The security was just not doing anything about it, because apparently the people running that booth was friends with one of the co-founders of the convention.
Oh Lord.
That's I probably would not support that convention anymore.
No, so I'm glad I didn't go, because I would have been arrested for punching some Nazis Wolfenstein style.
I hope that you were I would really hope, Kaiser, if you were brought before a judge at that point, so you punch some neo-Nazis like Wolfenstein.
I don't see a problem here. Move
Yep.
along.
I'll probably get off. Honestly, it's
Next.
justified. But anyway, when it comes to conventions, Ben summed it up more better than I ever could. Except one little element that I also like going there, other than seeing how much money I can spend, get some of those good convention exclusives, is seeing some of the panels as well.
Okay, yep, that's something I forgot.
Just hearing people talk in person that you never would normally see in person talk.
Being on a panel was interesting because that was only my second panel, and it was a pretty impressive big stage that we got in front of, like super professional. I've seen what you guys have in the UK. I hope that improves because that's really, really poor what you guys have got in the UK, what I saw. It was just like worse than a bingo hall.
It depends on the convention, to be honest. There's a lot of really small scale ones, but then there's some of the big, like the EGX and things like that is like the big UK convention, and they tend to have like a proper, like almost like a New York Comic Con style like hall where they have guys on stage doing presentations and stuff like that.
Retrokaiser's going to blow up here if we don't let him have his bit.
When I was at my second ever eGames Expo, there was actually a TV show being filmed there for Channel 31, like a trivia. Like they're filming like
no
a
one
special
watches
panel.
Channel 31.
I do, but then again, I'm a no one. But anyway, that's besides the point. They were filming like this video game show, and I actually got a question right, and I won myself a very sweet Red Dead Redemption T-shirt. But the problem is when you actually watch that TV show, I can't find it. It's lost in the ether. But when I go up to get the TV show, unfortunately, my pants were a bit extra loose, so my butt sort of slipped out on the TV show.
Is that what you call a flash crack? A flashback?
So my television debut is you see the good end of me. You see my ass.
Right. I knew we had you on the show for a reason. Okay. I was going to add an extra twist to this, but in the 80s, we didn't have conventions for gaming. It just wasn't a thing. But in Sydney, as early as 86, 87, I used to go to a meeting. It was more because we didn't have internet and all the rest of it. So we would meet up in Scout Halls, and it was the Sydney Sega's user group, SUG. Great name. And basically it was a scout hall, and people would set up their SC3000s or their Sega Master Systems or Mega Drive and just show off games. Or there was a bunch of guys that were really hardcore into programming, and that was the first time I heard a computer do any speech. I never heard a computer, like you used to hear robotic, that kind of voice, but this was actually recognizable. Hi, welcome to Sega. And I was like, wow, that's actually clear speaking. This is awesome. Because before that, it was beep, 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 and that's it. And that was the first time I got to see the Mega CD as one of those things, because that continued on through to the early 90s. I went online to search Sydney Sega Users Group. There's only like 2 references to it to this day. It's weird how something like that is just disappeared into history. So it's up to people like me to bring it back and talk about it. Yeah.
I'd love to see little meetups like that make a return. Honestly,
I would love
small little personal conventions. Like get all a bunch of like Sega fans or fans in general together and throw like a big giant gaming barbecue where we talk about stuff and
the
eat
problem.
meat.
So you got to have it where it's members only. Otherwise, you just get all sorts of
you're gonna get some drunken bogans just crashing like, I want a sausage, Sonic, Sonic sausage.
Or worse, you're gonna get some random American wearing a Sega Genesis hat, thinking he's all hot shit because he claims to have grown up during the console wars, even though he was a
one
baby.
Of these things is not like the others.
So anyway, I just thought I'd add that to put a little bit of a twist on that question. I guess that's why when I go to the big conventions now where there's millions of dollars being spent, I go back to my roots and like to just chat about, that's a nice game. It's great. You know, you got these booth babes, they're a thing in the past, and these smoke machines and lasers and everywhere. That's cool. But all that aside, I like the game. All right, that's that question. Sorry,
I've not even answered yet. Skipping over me.
Sorry. You got to put your hand up. No, sorry. Yeah, go
on. Yeah, I'm similar to like all you guys really. Like whenever I go to conventions, like I'll have a list of stuff I want to look for. So I'll be digging through like the crates and stuff and trying to find those like loose game bargains and all that sort of thing. But then I like meeting new people, but then also meeting old friends and like, or people like you've known on the internet forever or whatever. Like, people you speak to only on Twitter that are somehow at this convention, so you can like hang out with them for a bit, you know, chat to them. Like some of like my really good friends in like the gaming community are people that I've met on Twitter, like in their little Twitter sphere, and then like you meet them in person, and then they become real friends because they're real people and not just names on the screen.
Yeah, it was
so
weird.
Kind of like, and then
it was weird at PAX for that, like going down the hall and people yelling out, "Hey, Spacies!" I'm like,
it's when they do that, and then like it's me, it's Jono365. You're like, oh my god, it's you. It's so you get to make
so
some
you do
real
have
new
a
friends.
Face.
I love that. Like meeting people that you've only sort of interacted with online in like real, so then you become real friends rather than internet friends. Internet friends are still great.
I remember when I first met someone on the internet at a convention, I walked up to this person, then I noticed he was like 7 foot tall, and my first response was like, "Whoa, you're a lot taller than you look on the internet."
You're a lot taller than you look on my phone screen.
Yeah. Big shout out to Weird and Retro, and also to Oz Retro Gaming, because those guys set up the retro gaming section at PAX in Australia, and that section goes off. That takes up a good chunk of the floor space, and you'd think that there would be these big, you know, because they have so much floor space, you'd think that there would be these guys who are unapproachable and just wankers or something, but no, totally approachable, super nice guys, and I was so glad to meet them. That was one of my highlights, actually, was meeting those guys for the first time. I actually tried to get to meet them at the first EB Expo games that I went to, which is no longer, and I saw these Weird and Retro signs everywhere. And I was starting Since Spacies then for the first time, so I was trying to introduce myself to people to get started. I just couldn't get a hold of them then. So to get the second chance to meet them was really good. So that is the Dave, we're only up to question 3 now. Guys, we've got to move on. Thank you very much, Dave, for that. We're going to move on now to 8-Bit Dad. He has a question that needs to be answered. 8-Bit Dad, what have you got for us?
This is 8-Bit Dad 70C, better known as Seth, and my question involves, can you play games wrong, and who gets to pick? In the Super Smash Bros. Series, the developers have an intended way of playing the game. It's more of a casual party-style game. But there's a subsection of the fans that prefer to play the game in a completely different way, more of a hardcore competitive fighting game method. And so they decide what mechanics they're going to keep and what mechanics they're going to throw out. So the question is either of these groups right? And which one? Does it differ game by game? Sometimes is there a right way to play the game, and sometimes is there not? What about games where the player makes their own win conditions, like Minecraft, saying, I'm going to build this? Can't wait to hear your guys' take on it. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we're back live. How you doing? Thank you for the follow, Hardly Dan. Why is he only Hardly Dan? Is he only partially Dan? Is he only sort of not all the way Dan? No, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so is there a right way or a wrong way of playing video games? Like, do you remember back in the arcade days, you'd be playing a game and someone would be behind you going, you're not supposed to do that. Fuck you, I'm doing it. Wonder Boy. I was playing Wonder Boy and I got the angel, and so you know, with the angel you become invincible, but rather than running into the items and making them disappear, push, I was actually still using my axe. And the guy behind me is going, you know you've got the invincibility. Yeah, dickhead, I'm not getting as many points though, am I? So, yeah, it was all about, oh, by the way, I've been told to drink something. There you go. So,
sort of water too.
That's all tricky.
Hardly Dan says, there is a story. I used to work in an internet cafe and I was always in the chat, but hardly ever there. I used to work in an internet cafe and I was always in the chat, but hardly ever there. Okay. I'm not sure what that's okay.
Hardly Dan. He's saying
I get it. Sorry. Derp. Sorry. Thanks. God, I'm Since Spacies, but not all that bright.
To answer this question, I've actually got an incredibly cheesy answer. There's really no right way. There's really no wrong way. There's only your way.
Shut up! Well, I'm going to counter that because I believe there is a right way and a wrong way to play video games. The right way is, are you having fun playing a video game? You are? Good. You're doing it right. The wrong way, are you crapping on someone who's having fun? And that's the wrong way.
I'm going to throw up. I'm getting a strong feeling of Oprah here.
True. And to add on to that, if you're playing a game, if you're trying to play a Super Nintendo game with a Mega Drive controller, you're definitely playing it the wrong way.
Little did you know fact about the Mega Drive that I only just found out. Do you know that they actually designed the Mega Drive to be played both normally and upside down for left-handed people? Yeah, there was a screenshot. There was a screenshot showing an official photo of what the system looked like for the first time, and one of the photos has the guy holding the controller upside down, and so that got you to thinking, okay, are they going to make some games where you can flick left or right to make it left-handed or right-handed? Super confusing though. That wouldn't have taken off.
Well, you know what?
No, but I can see
how later versions of, or I think maybe they did this in the original one too. When Guitar Hero was really big back in the mid 2000s.
Yes.
Because there was a mode in it called left-handed mode where they flipped the buttons because I mean normally people play right-handed. This is how they do it with the guitar. Yep, got it right now.
You can't resist an opportunity to show props. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so there's like a left-hand mode. So if you're left-handed and that's how you play, then yeah, you can play Guitar Hero just like that.
Hang on, I got to do something. Stop leaving the chat. All right. So a right way or wrong way, hardcore. With a name like hardcore, I'm expecting you to go, there's only one way to play the game. No, go on.
You play the game, you play it properly, or you don't play it at all. No, I think it's one of those things, if you're having fun playing a game, play it however you want to play it. I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way.
I think there's only one time when there's a right way and wrong way is if you're in a tournament and there's rules. That's
I guess so. But things like games like Grand Theft Auto, I guess the right way to play the game would be to go through and play the missions and finish the story.
Yeah.
But if you just want to dick around and steal cars and shoot cops, then you do you. If you want to obey traffic rules and be a proper upright citizen, then yeah, you do you. You play it however you want to play it.
I'm laughing at the chat. Hardly Dan says, "I refuse to get good." Some people just like, especially kids. Have you ever watched a kid playing a game and you're just like, why is he doing that?
So I have a story for you about that. So my nephew, when he was about 5 or something years old, we had an Xbox 360 at the house I grew up in, and he got like Lego Indiana Jones and Kung Fu Panda. And he is a very young kid, so he does just like me. Like when I first got Pokemon, I didn't read any of the text. I didn't read any of the instructions. I just looked at the pretty pictures and saw the cute animals and just went. So he thought it was the funniest thing to have his character. He was playing Kung Fu Panda. He was constantly falling off the edge, and he was just laughing his head off because he thought it was so funny. He got a game over screen, hit the restart button, just doing the same thing over and over and over again because he thought it was the funniest thing.
I guess if he's having a good time of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted so bad to tell him, it's like, you're not supposed to do that, but then I'm like, I can't. He's having fun, and I don't want to spoil his fun. Like, the only time I ever stopped him for playing a game is when he was playing my 3DS without my permission.
Oh. Yeah, you don't go there.
Only time he was, because I just got my 3DS and Mario Kart 7, and I was on my computer doing a homework assignment or something, and then he like saw it, I was like, ooh, and he picked it up, and I just looked over, I'm like, Austin, yes? Is that my 3DS? Yeah. Did you ask? No. What are you gonna do now? Put it back. Good answer.
I think that's why Minecraft is so successful. There's no right way or wrong way of playing it. You're just goofing around and dicking around and hoping to survive the first night when you first play it.
Yeah.
And then other than that, there's no other real rules to the game. So it's just about survival. And then they've got creator mode anyway. You could just fly around like an idiot. So, yeah. Although I got a story about that. I had Zen. Zen's a friend of the channel. He's always on. He was playing my game on the Xbox, and I'm trying to get achievements with this world that I was in, and I let him take over, and I come back and he's flying around. He's put it into creator mode, and then I thought, oh no, I have to kill that. I can't play that world anymore, because you can't get achievements in the game if you go into creator mode. The minute you go into creator mode, you can't unlock any achievements. You got to start a new world. And so I told him, you've basically destroyed that world for me. Thanks for that. Anyway.
It's like that's like deleting your save file when you're on the final boss or you're 99% completed.
Along those lines. What's he grabbing now? There's got to be a new rule. No more getting up and keep moving around. What's he? Is that a fly spray? What's he doing? All right. Well, while Retrokaiser's off chasing moths or whatever it is he's doing there, or cockroaches, thank you very much, 8-Bit Dad. I think this is an ideal time to go to the next question. Top Loader has the next question. Are you guys ready for this? This is a doozy. Top Loader with question number 4, I believe. Yeah, question number 4. What have you got for us?
Today, my question is going to be, who is the best looking male YouTuber? Now, it has to be male. I would love to see your faces right now, because obviously the best looking YouTuber is me. That's not even a question. I just gave you all the same answer. You can't answer anything else because that's the actual answer. Oh, I'm so silly sometimes. Anyway, my actual question is, what is your guilty pleasure in gaming? Mine is Bubsy. Bubsy is my guilty pleasure. Well, it's actually more pleasure than guilt. So take that as you will, fellas, but that's my guilty pleasure game. All right, thank you guys, and see yous, I don't know, when I see yous next time, right? That's how this works. I see you, then you see me. That's how it works, fellas. That's how it works.
Top Loader, you're an idiot. Thank you, Top Loader, for your awesome question. As far as the best looking, I'm an old dude. I don't care about that crap anymore. But who's the best looking dog on YouTube? I don't know. Not Metal Jesus. He's really let himself go lately. Wow. I don't know. I didn't want to turn this into a bitch fest, but you asked.
Welcome to the Slaggy Show.
Yeah, the Since Slagging Show. I don't know. Certainly not RG85 with that mustache he's got going lately. Have you seen that? I sent a tweet out saying that should have a copyright strike or something. Get rid of it. I don't really have an answer. Do you guys know a good-looking YouTuber?
It's probably Nostalgia Nerd. Just go with Nostalgia Nerd. Or LGR,
he looks like a geek. Like he looks like a geek. If you met him in the street, you'd be like, that guy's a nerd.
I don't know. Top Hat Gaming Man's pretty sexy. Oh.
No, I've met him. No, I've met him. He's too short.
He's short.
He's short. He's like 5 foot nothing. And then there's also Happy Console Gamer in Canada.
He's okay.
For a guy, he's the same age as me, just about. He holds up all right. Who's Philly D? Is that that big? Are we talking about the big YouTuber? That's getting too big. Phil D? What's that guy? I don't know. Yeah, I know the guy that just commentates on all the topics that are not gaming. So yeah, I don't really watch his channel. But back to his real question, because Top Loader's just an idiot with that question. Guilty pleasure, dead or alive, volleyball. I said it. I don't care. I got no shame. Or Animal Crossing.
Hey, Animal Crossing's good. It's a nice chill game.
Nothing wrong with Animal Crossing.
Not according to US law enforcers who say that any adult playing this game is a sex offender and needs to be locked up. This is true. You can go look it up on YouTube. There was a US law enforcer who was trying to push to get that game banned because he reckons it was just being used to groom kids, which is just like...
There's clearly no idea how
clearly that's
works.
disgusting if that's what's happening, but you've never played the game before. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. You're talking out of your butt.
A, he doesn't know how the game is played, and B, he certainly doesn't know how atrocious Nintendo Online is, especially when you're trying to play with your friends. Oh my god. Yeah, that's America, all right. People just think
it's a really old clip. It's GameCube old. GameCube, so 20 years old. So internet was kind of new back then.
You couldn't even connect to people in the original Animal Crossing.
No, you could with the Wii version.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The Wii version,
and I'm not sure if the article was in response to that. I think it might have been the Wii version.
Yeah.
But even then, unless you had both of you had the Wii speak, you couldn't talk to each other. And I only ever did it once. I went to some dude's house and he could hear me, but I couldn't hear him. And I was giving him a lot of crap because he spent all his time on the toilet while I was trying to talk to him. Like in the game toilet. Yeah. Guilty pleasures, guys?
The only one that I can
a game that you're embarrassed to own. I think is probably the better way to.
Oh, that's Say guilty pleasure can mean a whole bunch of things.
He's off again.
Oh, jeez. I was gonna say like the FIFA series because they're kind of like real gamers don't play FIFA. They don't play sports games. Like a real gamer's not gonna play Madden or whatever. But I'm like I like football, so I play.
I love NHL,
game.
but I got off their games in about 2012 onwards. But I'm hearing really good things about the latest NHL game, so I'm thinking of going back. I've been playing every NHL game since it started, like 91 till just recently. Penguins.
Wrong, but okay.
What's your team?
Kings.
Kings?
LA, the LA Kings.
Yeah.
What have they done lately?
What have the Penguins done lately?
True.
If you're talking about games,
all right, here we go. What?
If you're talking about games,
sorry, are we interrupting you? Yeah, go on.
Sorry. Did I interrupt Ben? Sorry.
No,
Benny.
go.
If you're talking about games, embarrassing to own.
I've got
for a different reason.
But
I mean the game that could potentially get you arrested.
I'm not going to run out and grab it, but I've got.
I know you've got Panty Raiders or whatever the hell it's called in your collection.
Panty
I don't know what it's called. I don't own such filth.
If it's games you're embarrassed to own, I do have a Leisure Suit Larry Magna Cum Laude on the Xbox.
You actually
and I bought
physical
it
version
when it came out. Yeah, on release day.
All right, what were you hoping to get out of that game?
Well, the old Leisure Suit Larrys are really fun little point and click games, and it's not really anything too like. Well, obviously it's about they're about a guy trying to get laid, but there's nothing too gratuitous in it. And then that one is just like an American Pie movie.
What is the command for that? BBB boing? Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, there it goes. Done it.
I don't think I have any video games that I looked at and I just go, "Oh my god, I'm embarrassed to own this." But I guess a guilty pleasure because it's not very challenging. It's just like if I just want to kill a little bit of time and have some fun, I think it would be Backyard Baseball for the Game Boy Advance. It's a kid's baseball. It's a kid's baseball game, and it's kind of fun. It's a really just fun little baseball game where you actually play in kids' backyards, and you can play.
I'll be down for that. Because I think some of these sport games take it way too seriously, and all you want to do is just...
This is like the complete opposite of that. If you're looking at like MLB The Show or FIFA, this is the complete... The version I have, one player from all 30 MLB teams is represented, and you can build essentially your dream Major League Baseball team. Like for me, the version I have, Barry Bonds is on the roster, and he was the most hated man in Dodger Stadium for years.
Right.
And just to be cheeky, I put him on my team just so I can see Barry Bonds in a Los Angeles Dodgers uniform, which normally in the real world he would never be caught dead in. So. For those of you who don't know, the Dodgers and Giants are big time rivals. They have been since they were playing in New York, and they still are here in California. Go Dodgers.
Any more guilty pleasure games?
I've got one. I do have one guilty pleasure game that I don't normally like to admit that I like to play every now and then.
Oh, like you've got shame.
Oh, you're bitch. E.T. for the Atari 2600.
Oh, I have that.
You have that?
Yeah, I bought a cartridge of it solely because I wanted to own it and I wanted to preserve it. I wanted to keep it because I think that's a piece of history. I'm
Good
not
thing
ashamed
that you're
to say
saving those landfills. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say I own a ET because I spoken to Howard Scott Warshaw. He was on my podcast.
However, would you be ashamed to say that you played the ET though?
No, I'm not ashamed because I actually have played it and I want to replay it because the first time I played it with like this mindset of this is the worst game of all time and this is garbage. And I want to go back to it with not fresher eyes, but at least keep all the internet, like the internet and the pop culture media sayings of this is the worst game of all time.
It's not. It's really not.
I've only got one thing I can say to you for that. Good luck with that, because it's the only game, I've said this before on the channel, it's the only game that I've ever ripped out of a still beating console and flung across the room. And this was way before internet was even a thing. This was in the 80s. We were going through a whole pile of these Atari games. Oh, E.T., that looks good. Put it in. Didn't know what the fuck was going on. I had no idea what you were supposed to be doing. And you just kept falling in the pits. You're out of a pit. You're in a pit. You're out of a pit. There was no rhyme or reason. The instruction manual told you dick or, and it was just really bad experience. And I just flung it. Went back to barnstorming or something. I don't know.
I think it was just rushed, didn't it?
It was rushed.
They just rushed it out.
This is such a shame because I think that if that guy had been given an extra year to actually develop a proper game, he may have come up with what could have been regarded as a classic, because Adventure, everyone regards Adventure as being the first true role-play game, which technically it isn't. But anyway, actually, no. The misconception is that's the first game with an Easter egg, and that's not true. There is another game that predates it that has an Easter egg in it, an arcade game. But we'll let Ready Player One think that it's Adventure.
But Spacies, to add on to, if you had given the guy more time to work on ET to make it a better game, he actually did get there. I remember watching a Guru Larry video years ago talking about like a port of that game for like one of the cassette-based computer systems, how it actually has been, worked on a little bit more, and the game works so much better than what the Atari version did.
Did he ever release it?
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting video.
Yeah. He also wrote a book about it, which I need to finish reading.
He was in psychology, wasn't he?
What's up?
He was in psychology?
No, he's a psychotherapist now. He's a practicing doctor at the moment.
Yeah, because I can imagine that if he didn't handle it well, he could have been needing the expertise of psychoanalysis.
Give himself therapy.
He's a fantastic man to talk to. He actually said he wants to come back on the show and talk about the book once I finish it. And I can't wait to.
I've got absolutely no hatred or resentment to him at all. I understand that if anything, he gets my pity because of the rubbish conditions that he was under to push that game out. I mean, he still got paid, so there is that. But would you rather be known for making a really good game, or would you rather just get paid and having this bad reputation story hanging over your head for all these years?
At least he's
now got something to talk about. Yeah.
was about to say, at least his bad game made, well, worldwide history, like actual world history.
Hardly Dan says, I'd rather play E.T. than Dragstar.
Well, the thing is, besides E.T., he also made Yar's Revenge, which is regarded as... It's the same guy who made Yar's Revenge, made E.T. Howard Scott
It's
Warshaw
got nothing to do with pirates, you idiot. We're just gonna have a quick... We're just gonna have a quick break. This has never happened before, but I kind of need to go to the little boys' room. So, see, this is what happens when you say drink something. So I'll be right back in just a moment. Really sorry about this. Yeah, thanks, Emerald Rangers.
Welcome to the stream, Emerald Rangers.
I wonder if like there's an intermission music song playing.
But
yeah,
we're still live.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Talking to Howard was definitely one of the highlights of because I have a very small podcast. It's like stupid small. But the fact that he even emailed me back and said, "Yeah, I'd like to come on your show and talk about it,"
That's
I was
awesome,
like,
man.
I will take any time you're willing to give me. And the fact that he wants to come back and talk about it, then talk again once I finish reading the book, because he goes into detail about if he had more time, if he had less time. It's all the stuff about him making ET is in that book, and I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, but I had absolutely no idea that the same guy that made the ET game, because he was worked under incredibly stress situations, wasn't he? Like, you only had, like, what was it, a couple of weeks to make the game? Yeah, so that's not very long to make a game in general. That's actually not very long to make a prototype.
Last game he made before ET, the game he just finished was Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that he was given 6 months for that game, and then
much more comfortable time. Yeah.
And then ET is 5 weeks, and so I mean the fact that he still made a fully functioning video game in 5 weeks. I mean, yes, people say there's problems with it.
Yeah,
but
essentially,
a fully functioning game in 5 weeks to me is still
incredible. That's genius. You have to be practically genius level of gaming maker to pull that off.
And not only that, this was in what I call the primordial age of video games. This was when no one knew what they were doing. This is the very first ones that were widespread or had mass appeal. So I feel like without, especially here in America, without the crash of '83, we would never be where here in America, because I know you guys in England and Australia didn't have a video game crash.
You're the first American I've ever heard say that.
What?
Acknowledge that it only happened in the US and Canada.
We talked about this.
No, like, it's so many people, they keep going on like Nintendo saved gaming. Well, yeah, in your country that might be the case. And yes, it is the biggest market pretty much in the world, except I was going to say Canada, except Japan. But I still think, like, this is going off topic. I'll get back in a second, but I think gaming would have survived if Nintendo didn't enter the scene. We just would have had a vastly different. Imagine a world of gaming without a Mario, without Donkey Kong, without all that. It would still be an interesting and fun pastime, but man, Nintendo have brought so much to gaming. I'm not going to deny that at all.
With that, I feel like without Nintendo, we wouldn't have Sega or Sonic the Hedgehog.
TV.
Sorry, Aussie Gamers TV has just joined the chat and he says, "Nice new layout." Thank you very much. This was meant to look like the last episode, but yeah, technical difficulties. All right, we've got to get back on track. Sorry, hold that thought. So we've just finished with that last question. We're going to move on to Stewie. By the way, Top Lighter, you're an idiot. Keep those stupid questions coming though. Stewie from Stewie's Retro Game Room. What have you got for us? Question number 5.
How you doing, man? Just throwing you out a wee question for your show. I was just thinking to myself today, it was just about all these, obviously these mini systems that are being released or that are on pre-order. I was just curious to know, is there any kind of companies that you would love to see even resurrected, to bring back or bring out a new one of like a games console or microcomputer that have obviously went defunct in the past. I mean, I would love to see like a like a new kind of Commodore, Amiga or something like that. Like a genuine, full blown new machine. It'd be great to see them something like that come back. I would really bring a big smile to my face. And I was just curious what you guys thought as well. Hope you're all taking care of yourselves, staying safe, and be good, and enjoy your games. I know I do. Take care, folks. Bye for now.
I think Stewie is probably one of the community's nicest guys. He's just, I can't imagine anyone's having anything but nice things to say about him. I can't imagine him, like if you'd go to a bar and he was there, you'd shout him a drink for sure. I personally, I've got two answers to this. Free Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Vectrex. I would love a Vectrex.
Oh, Vectrex.
I would love a Vectrex Mini right about now. That, I think not many people would go for it, but I certainly would love a Vectrex. So sorry to steal so many of your opportunities to answer. You can answer the same one though. Hardcore. What have you got?
Yes. I would agree with the Sega Saturn. I actually had a very similar question on a Q&A video I did last year on my channel. And yeah, I picked Sega Saturn because the amount of amazing first-party games that you could have on there is amazing. You could have like your Virtua Fighter, you could have your like Sega Rally, Daytona USA, things like Knights on there, Die Hard Arcade, when we put the Dynamite Decker version on for licensing reasons. Yeah, I love the Sega Saturn anyway, so just it'd be such a good one to do. And I know it probably wouldn't sell ever so well because the Sega Saturn probably didn't do very well, but I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think it might be a reason for it to sell better than you think, because maybe people be like, I never got a Saturn. I wonder what that would be like. And as long as they put the right balance of games on there, I think it could do well.
Yeah.
Sega's good marketing. I think we underestimate Sega's ability to market and promote something. They're no slouches when it comes to marketing. So
not at all.
I think they could do well, especially Sega of Europe. Not so much Japan. I can't imagine it selling well in Japan. But definitely in the West.
Bringing a Sega Saturn Mini out, wouldn't that be a good excuse to bring Sagata Sanshiro out of retirement for a year?
Oh, don't. I would love that. Do you know who Sagata Sanshiro is, by the way, guys?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
He could just have like a really mini one on his back. the actual mini.
Yeah, the mini version with or you get a mini Sagata Sanshiro with the system.
Did you see that? He was going around TV morning shows promoting the Saturn back in the day, and they had the actual Saturn that he used on those commercials. It weighs 20 kilos. It is very, very hefty for a prop. And the guy that's hosting, he's trying to lift it. He can't lift it. He's carrying it on his back. But no, I think that those old Sega Sanshiro commercials are the best video game commercials of all time, bar none. They're just ridiculously good.
I mean, he beats you up if you've never heard of Sega Saturn before, so it's kind of good reasons.
He beats those poor kids coming back from baseball training. Why aren't you playing Saturn?
How many other Sega mascots can you say saved Sega from a nuclear missile strike from Sony?
The head office, yeah. Hardly Dan says, that's an interesting question. Whilst there is something wonderful about playing old games on original hardware, any new version of an arcade system is just going to emulate it. At that point, what's the difference? I don't care. I'm not one of those emulator snobs. I've got a Neo Geo Mini sitting here, which I got. There we go. Good timing. I would love that Astro City cab, but
I think my the whole thing with that is like, so I've got the NES, the Super NES, the SNES. If you're in the UK, and the PlayStation one.
How dare you?
It's the SNES. And like to
I gotta
me, it's
get
like
that
it's
sample.
official. It's official hardware to me. You know, it's not the original hardware, but it's still official hardware. So you're still playing that game officially. You're not stealing it, I guess. But if it's still classed as stealing for a 30-year-old game.
If you were to get an original NES controller and the NES Mini controller and do a blindfold test, I would doubt that you would be able to pick the difference.
No,
I have
if you got a brand new old controller, like an unused old controller, and put them, because I bought an NES secondhand, and that controller had been just absolutely much, pushed to death, and I had to get new buttons for it. But yeah, especially the Genesis or the Mega Drive one, Genesis one, that controller felt so good to have in my hand again. New for the first time in 30 years or so.
Yeah. When I got the SNES Classic, I'm going to keep calling it SNES. The controller, because I've had mine, I've still got an original SNES from back in the day, from when I was younger. I forgot that when he first got it, brand new, the controller was textured, because mine is just flat and smooth. But there's a really light, rough texture on all over the controller, and I'm like, I forgot that was there. This is so weird.
Which controller was that? Sorry, which system?
The SNES.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah,
the SNES.
Yeah. Oh no, I wasn't teasing you the way you're pronouncing it. I just because I was going to think that you could say that about both the Mega Drive or the Super Nintendo. They both got that texture, that rough texture that over years
really,
they just grinded away.
Texture.
Yeah. So did anyone else have an answer to this before we move on?
I do. I'll let Ben go first.
Okay, Ben.
So to answer the actual question, obviously all the Sega systems. Even the Master System, I feel, because when the Genesis Mini came out, I was like, thank God I could finally play Genesis games without owning a Mega Drive one. But I would love to see a Saturn Mini. But on the Nintendo side, I would kill for an N64 Mini. I would absolutely love to see one if that ever came to fruition, which it didn't. But I mean, N64 games are on the Switch now, so I guess I got a way to play N64 games again.
Sorry,
but to answer the whole,
I'm just going to switch camera angles here for a second. This is
okay.
My cat's trying to get into the cupboard. My other cat's sleeping in there. There might be a cat fight. There might be a cat fight here in a second. I don't know. Keep going.
Yeah, but to answer the whole I mean, yeah, if you like playing on original hardware, that's awesome. You do you, but I'm broke. I can't really afford original hardware.
I shouldn't laugh so hard, but it's so true.
No, but okay. To me, the minis are a perfect answer because I never grew up owning a Genesis or a SNES. Yes, I have my NES, but it's older. It's an older system, and I now have and I don't have a CRT TV anymore. All I have are my flat screens.
Yeah.
So to hook that sucker into a flat screen, it looks god awful. But with the minis, they look
fantastic. They look brilliant. Yeah.
And also a lot of the minis, they have games that are very rare, very hard to find, and also very expensive. If you own the original cart of when the SNES came out, and I was like, hey, Secret of Mana is on here, no problem. It's already ready to go. I'm like, sweet, I don't have to A, buy a SNES, or B, find a cartridge that's at the point where it was well over $50 to $70 loose. And it's problem solved. I'm good. And I get all the other amazing classic, like Mega Man X. That thing's well over $100 loose. Yeah. I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's right there in the system.
Mega Man X, Earthbound, Secret of Mana, all that stuff. It's just on there.
Bubsy.
You haven't got
Final Fantasy 3 6. It's there. It's ready to go. So for me,
Super Metroid, that's getting the price now.
Oh yeah, God. So for me, the minis are perfect ways that you still get that old feel. You still get a console, but they're also smaller. They're more compact. You have more space. I constantly talk about how space is a bit of an issue when I'm trying to collect for things.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm collecting a lot of handheld games because they're small. They're easy to put away.
Retrokaiser?
Whereas if I could.
This is going to be weird, but I was thinking about the SNES Mini and the way we talk about how exciting it is. I'm just thinking the SNES Mini is just you get the same excitement from that when you played Super Mario All Stars for the first time. seeing all these games on the one cartridge, but it's just so much bigger with
Yeah.
all these games on the one system. You get that same excitement.
Okay, I think we're going to move on. I got to move over to the.
Hey! I've got a proper answer, Sonny Jim.
Looking at the time and trying to move on. Hang on a sec. I'll move scenes. Okay, yeah, what is your real answer? Your real answer.
Don't worry, it's going to be quick. You know how SNK's been re-releasing older Neo Geo Pocket games?
Yes.
I would love them to release a limited edition replica of the actual console itself, but with like all the games inbuilt into it, as opposed to the cartridge swapping, so you can just play it how it's supposed to be.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
A Game Gear Mini, where they did that.
They did that.
Proper. Just re-released. Yeah, just re-released the Game Gear in its original form factor.
Instead of the McDonald's Happy Meal versions that we got.
That was lame.
Just
the
same
Japan, though, right?
Sorry, what was that?
Those tiny little Game Gears that were like yay big, that only released in Japan, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, because when I saw that,
because the West wouldn't cut it in the West. To be quite honest,
no, I'm too afraid to actually play one of those because I'm worried if something bumps into me and I accidentally swallow it because it looks so small you can probably accidentally eat it.
I mean, I have this. I mean, this here we go. I have this, and I have my Zelda one down here. I mean, this is fine to play Super Mario Bros. It's small enough, but those Game Gears were just so stupid tiny.
It was a really ill thought out release, and no one. I don't recall anyone looking at that going, "Oh my god, that's so cool!" Like I would like it just because of the collector in me, but I won't lose sleep knowing that I don't have them.
That makes me very fortunate. When I was a kid, I was able to play like the mini arcade cabinet versions of them, of Cement Factory and whatnot. Those were good. Those were the better versions of those systems.
Those Coleco arcade cabinet thingies.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're talking about.
All right, we're going to move right along. Thank you, Stewie. We got 2 more questions to get through. Cross-Legged Collector has a question. Has been on the channel before, but I'd like to talk about it again. And that's a nice reminder that I didn't have enough questions for this episode from you guys. So please, please, please get your mug in front of a camera. Talk and ask about anything gaming related. Keep it under a minute and send it into brian@sincespacies.com. And your video may feature on a future episode, or 2 in this case. Cross-Legged Collector. I keep calling him Cross-Legged Gamer. Cross-Legged Collector, what have you got for us?
Yeah, I got a question. Sega. Everyone knows that, right? So, who sang that? I know it's not just, created from scratch, a sample for the Genesis like that. Most likely that was recorded in the studio somewhere and sampled and put on the Genesis. Sega, we all know that. Hell, even in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, they used those notes and tone. Big orchestra. Dun, dun, it was great. So, I want to know, who sang that? It had to have been sung by somebody. So, I want to know who they are, and I want to track them down and thank them. Who did it?
Do it again. I have a suspicion.
I have to tell some people in the chat, like in the actual panel here, to just calm down, wait for him to finish asking the question. And I've had some guys just like fully answer the question while the question's being asked. Yeah, Toploader does that all the time. The Sega chant, or I call it Sega, whatever. That's another topic. I noted the very first time that I saw it was from the SC3000 or SG1000 commercials in 1983. I don't know if it exists prior to that. I would love to know someone from Japan who could get a translator and get them to... Why do Australians pronounce it Sega? I don't know. Why did America pronounce it as Sega originally? There's a thing. Not many people know that. In the 70s, it was pronounced Sega of America. It wasn't Sega. And when we buy cheese, we buy a cheese here from a brand called Bega. It's not Bega. And it's from a town called Bega, not Bega.
It's like we got Vegemite, not Vegemite.
In Street Fighter, is it Vega or Vega?
Yeah, Vega.
I've always I call it Vega, but that's only because I've heard other people say Vega.
I call it Vega.
Yeah, but
I've heard people call them Vega because they're used to saying Vegemite.
All right. Speaking of pronunciations, I don't know why we got onto that. You guys call it Gallagher?
Is it Galaga?
That's how we've pronounced it.
Oh, Gallagher.
How do you pronounce it?
Gallagher.
Retro?
Galaga.
Yeah. It's an Aussie thing. Aussies will pronounce it as Galaga. I guess it's because we've got galahs, which are similar to cockatoos. So.
Oh, another one I remember back when this was new. I remember when Tekken first came out. You either call it Tekken or Tekken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard that before.
I've always pronounced it Tekken. Yeah. But there's only a handful of things that we pronounce differently in Australia, and we've moved off calling it that because of being bullied by the rest of the world. I say it the same as hardcore, says Aussie Gamers TV.
So what was the question again?
We've gotten into Aussie Gamers TV and I have been arguing about the Sega thing in the past. I got into an argument with him because I said that anyone that says Super Smash Bros instead of Super Smash Brothers is an idiot and doesn't know how the English language works, because the full stop at the end of Bros denotes that it's an abbreviation. The guy even says it in the title. And that's where the argument comes in. Or would they say Sega instead of Sega? So I can't win that argument. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. It's just, you tell that. Okay, Aussie Gamers TV says doesn't matter. Tell that to all the people that comment in my videos whenever I say Sega. They go like, what? What's this Aussie saying? Back to the question though, the Aussie, the Sega chant. I got a suspicion that it started with those Sega commercials for the SC3000. I don't know of it ever existing prior to that. What was the first time you heard that Sega? It was Sonic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. It was the same for me. I'd never saw a Sega commercial prior to working at Sega. And even when working there, we never got to see... The first time that the penny dropped for me with the pronunciation thing was we got a promo CD for Mega CD. Or they kept saying Sega CD. We're like, Sega CD? Did they mean Sega CD? What's going on? And we were honestly like questioning what the hell's going on. And they kept saying Sega. And that was the first time we realized, are we saying it wrong? And that's kind of awkward because when you're answering the phone, welcome to Sega Hotline, Brian speaking, you're kind of representing the company, aren't you?
Yeah.
So no one's got anything on this?
I do.
I've got a theory.
I've got a theory too. My theory is two game developers for a Sega game were just talking like, you know what, our game needs a little something. It needs a little bit of that extra kick. Maybe we should record an intro. Yeah, but let's not record here. This is boring. Let's record outside. So they grab the microphone and the guy goes, see, but the other guy, it was a secret plan to assassinate his co-worker. So he picked a cliffside to record it.
Retro. Stop it.
No. You gotta wait for the punchline. You gotta wait for the punchline. So the dude says, okay, now we're recording. So the guy goes, see, but then the guy pushes him off while we're recording. He goes, ah!
No, you don't even get a badoom chish for that. Mute him. Yeah, I should mute him.
I would say my explanation for the Sega chant is that was another answer to Nintendo. That was Sega trying to like put their, because like in marketing you get little jingles. That's why like here in America, I don't know if you guys have. I
gotta stop you there. Nintendo weren't even really a thing when that came out. They were new to the whole thing, just like Sega were. The SC3000 and the Famicom both released on the same day, which is nuts. Like, which one won that battle? But from what I've been reading up over the years, I believe that the SC3000 was in development much earlier than the Famicom was. So they just took longer to get it to the market, and they delayed it to the exact same day that the Famicom came out.
So
really frustrating.
So they did the whole Sega in the Master System titles, or
Prior. SC3000 predates the Master System. So we're talking timeline 1983. That's how far back this goes. And
everything I just said.
Yeah, and the first pronunciation of Sega in Australia on the other topic was 1984 with a John Sands commercial here in Australia. And the guy's saying, if you buy a Sega computer, we'll give you free shit. Something like that.
Very Australian advert.
Yeah, it was very to the point. What's your theory, Hardcore?
It's just the boot up sound, isn't it? Like the Master System, the older, like the SC and the SG was the
again.
They stuck words to it.
No, again, it predates that.
Really?
Yeah, it's way earlier than you think. I remember when I first realized how early that Sega chant goes back to. That really shook me up. Like, what the hell? This goes, because the first time I heard it was Sonic, and then to realize that, oh my God, they've been using it in Japan for almost like a decade before the Sonic game came out. That's nuts. Sega comes from an amalgamation of two names, hence Sega. Yeah, well, it comes from servicing games.
Something game. Yeah.
Service games. So it
service games.
So do you say Sega?
That sounds like Russian royalty, doesn't it? Serga.
All right. I'm getting sick of hearing the name Sega now. It's just doing my head in.
He's getting sick of hearing it.
Now, if you're sick of arguing about how to pronounce Sega, here's the next great debate for you. Alex Kidd, is it a ghost or is it a seal?
Oh, don't start. Don't, no.
I thought you were going to say Alex the Kid. And I was going to just...
Oh, no, there's a juicier one to roll up, Alex.
No. Okay, so when we were playing Alex Kidd, someone brought up in the chat that the ghost that appears when you run over the question mark block, they thought all along that it was a seal. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? So I have another look at it, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't see it. So he had to draw and demonstrate why his stupid brain thought that it was a seal. And then when I'm looking, I'm like, oh wow, that is a stretch. But it wasn't just you. There was a few people, Top Loader, including him, came up with this stupid seal business. Do you know the one I'm talking about, the ghost? Yeah, it actually says ghost in the instruction manual. So there's a bit of a clue.
It's like a little white Grim Reaper. He's got little eyes. He's like a little Grim Reaper.
I know, right? But no, according to these guys, it's a chasing you to kill you.
It's a big grey head
floating through the air.
Eyes and a big white tooth hanging out in front of its mouth.
Yeah, sure, and it's got frickin' laser beams. All right, we're moving on before that conversation gets too much more stupider than it is. Last question. Last question comes from Super Jude, who is in very much fact super. Let's get to that last question finally.
Hi, special guest. Jude here with a silly question about Sega. So I'm a huge Nintendo fan, no surprise there, and I have a Sega Genesis Mini in an effort to get my Sega on, but I need to know, where should I begin? What games should I be playing that are just gonna make me love Sega? And who do I ask? But the experts themselves, you guys. What should I be playing? Please enlighten me. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've still got the chart on my phone. I've just seen.
Super Jude is a big, I would almost call brainwashed Nintendo fan. I'm calling it. I'm sorry. I've seen your house. It's just like Nintendo. We got to change that. I think
she's a huge Zelda fan, isn't she? She loves Zelda.
Nothing wrong with that. But there's always room for other. There's always room for Sega in your life. this wall behind me is half Sega, half Nintendo. It's split down the middle. And in fact, I've probably bought more Nintendo stuff over the years than Sega stuff, to be quite honest. Okay, I'll go first. 2 games that will get you to be a Sega fanboy, girl, thing, person. Did I say thing? Someone said, okay, first off, 2 Happy Gamers is suggesting Gunstar Heroes, Sonic the Hedgehog, Toe Jam and Earl, Kid Chameleon, and Story of 4. Oh, well, the question is actually which games should I play first on this Mega Drive Mini? I reckon Phantasy Star 4. That game rocks. And if you can get it, because it's not on the Genesis one, Musha. Have you played Musha? Anyone?
I played a little bit of Musha when it came out on when the Genesis stuff came out on the Nintendo Switch. So that I really enjoyed it because I'm looking at the back of my box right now to try and figure out a good game for Jude, because I was gonna say Sonic 2, and I'm trying to think of something else. But
don't think too hard. It's not that hard.
Okay.
You're wearing a Genesis hat. You should know.
There's so many good games out here. So you know what? Sonic 2 and Streets of Rage 2.
Bingo. Bada bing. Retro.
For me, since she's a Zelda fan, I would recommend Story of 4 / Beyond Oasis. That would be
if you
right
say
up her alley.
Echo, I've got a blast button here for you.
Oh no! I'm not going to say that magic word. I'm actually going to say Shining Force.
Yes.
If you want
2.
something that
I know the first one's only on, but if you can mod your Mega Drive Mini or Genesis Mini and put Shining Force 2 on there, you'll thank me later.
Yes, 2, definitely 2. But those are the those are the 2 games that I'd pick. Those would be right up her alley.
Hardly Dan says Echo with question mark. No. No, don't. Hardcore. Go.
Well, Ben already said the games that I was going to say. Like Sonic 2 is the best Sonic game, and I will fight anyone to the death with that answer. It's also one of my favorite games of all time, so I'd say that. And Streets of Rage 2 is just phenomenal. Streets of Rage 2 is better than Streets of Rage 1, or maybe even Golden Axe. Golden Axe is great too. It's kind of those kind of like the arcade conversions and stuff are really good, except from Altered Beast, which is rubbish. Yeah, come at me. I'm in the UK. Where you can't come? Get on a plane.
It was fun at the time, but even at the time, we could realize it was a slow-paced game. I still remember getting to Streets of Rage 2. We kept getting calls on the hotline. When is Street Fighter 2 coming out? When is Street Fighter 2 coming out? And it was just doing our head in. So when we had a chance to finally release Streets of Rage 2, and we got to play the early pre-released versions before the public got to play it, I was just like, I'll wait till the public gets this. They're not going to want Streets of Rage. This is going to keep them happy for a little while until we finally do get Street Fighter 2. I just couldn't get over how good, A, the graphics with the extra large sprites compared to the first game, and 2, the music was just like, the first game had awesome music, and he managed to find a way of making it like killer in the second game. Kind of went off the rails a bit with 3 onwards, but Streets of Rage 2 was, I think Streets of Rage 2 comes close to being as good a game as you could get on the Mega Drive ever. Like it was just perfect.
As good a game as you can get ever, regardless of console.
Yeah. Definitely the one thing I would have to recommend if she does play Streets of Rage 2 is play with a friend, because I play that co-op with my girlfriend. I mean, it's a great beat 'em up solo, don't get me wrong, but with Streets of Rage 2, it just adds so much more when you're playing with a friend or with a loved one. It's just so much more fun to like help them out and just like to beat the crap out of people in that city.
Yeah.
Well, that's where Golden Axe sort of shines as well. And the thing with Golden Axe that people forget is it's actually kind of better than in some ways than the arcade. It had an extra level, which I remember that when we first got it, that wasn't like, we didn't know that because I got it before the Western release. I had the Japanese version, so I beat Death Adder thinking, okay, done. That was quick. and then the doors open up and you go through and like, what? What's going on here? I don't remember this. And
Like,
yeah,
"Hi,
and then
didn't you what?"
and the extra level's not that big a deal, but it was just good to have an extra stage. It was a big deal for the time. Guys, we're going to wrap things up. This has been awesome, but I'm now going to ask you guys one at a time what you guys are working on. Retrokaiser, starting with you.
Well, it's summer here. I'm trying to be a lot more active to make up for my previous year because I barely did anything, just probably a few streams and that's it. So I'm trying to I'm working on a few projects. I'm working on the Emerald Rangers summer series of streams where I'm streaming Monday to Friday at about 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And currently I'm streaming Half-Life 2. And I want to revive an old series that I worked on nearly 10 years ago now called Kaiser Records, where I talk about no, I don't talk about I talk about vinyl records. And for this season, I want to talk about the video game vinyl records that I've got in my collection because there's some pretty interesting ones. Some official releases, some unofficial, which makes the video game music genre on vinyl record to be so interesting. So I'm going to be talking a few of that, and that's practically about it.
Bubsy soundtrack?
Oh no, I wouldn't touch that with a 12-foot pole.
Ben, what have you got?
Yeah.
Can you talk about what you've got coming up?
Yeah, so good news is we got a whole bunch of episodes of Basement Arcade Pause Menu that are just waiting to be edited and worked on right now. So those will be coming up in hopefully the very near future. Also, I write for oldschoolgamermagazine.com. I write freelance for them. I just dropped a new article.
Good magazine, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I just dropped a new article for them the other day. So woohoo. And still working hard on the Fake Nerd podcast. You could watch us. We stream live Sunday evenings. We don't really have a set time because unfortunately our schedules are wonky. But yeah, just keep an eye out on the Fake Nerd podcast Twitter when we're putting up new episodes there. So yeah, I got a bunch of stuff going up. Holy crap!
And he's featured myself, Top Loader, and also Alicia. You say Alicia AU? What's with the AU bit? Do you say it or? Alicia?
I think I asked you that, and she said it was Alisai.
Alisai.
Yeah,
oh, you mean I'm getting it wrong all this time?
I don't know, but funny enough, since I had you, Top, and her,
Ali.
I really want to get the three of you on and do like an episode from like Australia Attacks, and we have like just talking games, all four of us together. I think that'd be a fun episode.
I'm putting my hand up to say I'll be a part of that, and if we can get the time in, yeah, for sure. And last off, Hardcore Gamer.
I'm working on I'm working on a few things actually. Can you believe I haven't put out a video for a couple of months? It's been I've been crazy stuff going on in the personal life, but I have a couple that I'm working on at the moment. The next one is probably going to be it's a countdown video of games that I like that no one else seems to like. It's a long title, but it's going to be good. I've got a couple of friends doing some bits on there as well, so there'll be a few cameos on that. Then I've got a bunch of other stuff in the works that hopefully I want to do a big Christmas special, and then I want to do something Spider-Man related next year as well. And other than that, I have my own podcast I'm launching next year as well. We recorded a pilot episode which is up as now. First episode is probably going to drop just after like in New Year at some point, which is an animation podcast because my background's animation. I did animation at university. It's called the Animation Action Hour. We kind of it's me and two of my mates. We're all work freelance in animation, and we're just going to talk about films and TV shows and stuff like that from kind of the point of view of animators. If you like British accents, you'll enjoy it. Because
I love Xenoblade Chronicles. Have you played it?
Well, what's that?
Xenoblade Chronicles. Have you actually played it? It's like
no,
full
I haven't,
of
actually.
Go get him. Go smash him up. Rip him a new one. They don't say that, but that's how it sounds.
If you like regional accents in the UK as well, because my two co-hosts are from the Birmingham area, and if you've ever heard the Birmingham British accent, like the Brummie, it's a sight to behold, or a sound to behold, I guess. Yeah, but they're super nice guys, and it's a fun time recording. So that sort of will be early next year. But yeah, just check out my YouTube channel. I'm hoping there'll be links somewhere to it.
On the YouTube, when this does get, because this gets downloaded, recorded, and
Yeah.
edited and shoved over to YouTube with some funky music in the background. You'll be going, oh, I know that one. Yeah. I'm gonna
So
try.
for those of you in the Twitch, so those of you in the Twitch chat, youtube.com/xHARDCOREGAMErx.
Are you on Twitch?
I am, yeah. It's twitch.tv/xHARDCOREGAMErx.
Sorry. Because you're not watching and I can't see you there. What is it? Sorry.
It's twitch.tv/xHARDCOREGAMErx, all as one word. You'll see my my logo on the.
X. Let's see if that works.
It's got this. There's no saved videos on there because I haven't used it for a while.
Yeah, that's what's coming up with an error, but that's okay.
It's hardcore gamer X. It should be on there. It's just look for the logo.
No, but you got no clips, so I was going to play.
No, I've got no clips.
Yeah, okay.
No, sorry.
I'll try and do one for Emerald Rangers as well, and then we're going to.
Oh, here's hoping it actually comes up with a good clip for once.
What if you're?
Oh, here we go.
The bananas have been replaced with fish.
I've got no bananas. No.
I've got no bananas, he says.
No, we've been replaced.
There are no bananas in the banana barrel anymore.
Hardly down in
There's
that
no
same
bananas
way,
in the
my
banana
name-
barrel.
Porn.
Yes, we have no bananas.
It's not porn. It's not even about being good at games.
They created a song called "We've Got No Bananas."
I need to highlight that.
Oh, is that old wartime song?
It's a sea shirty thing that they do.
We got no bananas today.
That was interesting. All right. And do you have a Twitch channel there, Ben, or no? Not yet.
I do have a Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/BenMagnet27. But good luck trying to find
But there's
me on
26 other ones of you.
Maybe, I don't know. I just don't have the 27 version, but the best version. Yeah. So there are a few clips up there of me playing Fortnite. Cause
It's about to play Metroid Dread.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's Fortnite. What the hell?
I told you I didn't save my. I forgot to save my Metroid clip. But
no, this one's playing
hopefully-
you playing Fortnite.
Yeah, that's with me and Cindy playing Fortnite together. But hopefully I'll start streaming again soon. I mean, unfortunately, my work schedule now, especially going into December, is gonna, in one word, suck. But hopefully in the new year I'll start streaming because I got some games that I bought myself on Cyber Monday, and also maybe I might get some games for Christmas that I want to stream.
And Two Happy Gamers says he loves your display pic for your Twitch channel, the Mega Man hat.
Oh, yeah, the Mega Man helmet. Yeah, I still have that. I have my Mega Buster right here, and my helmet is back over there in storage.
And can we take a moment, Hardcore Gamer? Can you just move your camera over to show off what you've got lurking in the background, which has been out of focus for this whole time? No, hang on. I'm going to change camera angles because I can't see it. Just 1 second. This is the only downside to this new thing that I've got going here. August. There we go. What have you got lurking in the background there?
That's a Power Ranger.
Does he pay rent?
Yeah. Well, he should. He's a freeloader. I keep asking, and he's just not paying up yet.
That's pretty impressive. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Guys, thank you very much. This has been an awesome little get-together. Thanking you. Don't forget to follow everyone that you see here. Their links will be in the description for the YouTube recording. And this is a show that goes on every first Saturday of the month. Whether or not I do the first Saturday of the month for 22, we'll find out. I'll announce that later. And if you want to be a guest on this show, sneak me a DM, a cheeky DM in my my Twitter account. And
Or do what I did, just rocked up.
Yeah, this guy just rocks up. He wasn't actually, this guy here was not actually meant to be on this episode. He just plonks himself in on the room. Hi.
I wasn't going to be on the episode either, then something happened. I was like, hey, I finally have time because normally I'm doing something else right now.
Well, I'm glad you guys were here because if you weren't here, it'd just be the Since Spacies Show with me asking myself some very hard questions. Thank you, guys. My name's been Brian, and I've been gaming since Spacies. Bye, guys.